Good afternoon. Welcome to the TheoTrade afternoon video. I am Blake Young, and today is September 18th, 2025, the day after the Fed rate cut, and we're going to discuss what's happened the day after the Fed rate cut. Simple enough. But we're going to start with the S&P 500. The S&P 500 reached a new record high and then faded back, and you can see is closing pretty much flat from the day, at least from the open, playing the top of the channel once again. The question is do we have enough momentum to continue this higher, or did we just retest the channel high and therefore put a top in the market? The question I have is, do we see growth, and do we see growth equal to or faster than inflation, or do we see no growth and inflation making it stagflation? So we're going to go through a couple of the other markets to see that momentarily. Looking at the economic data today, what did we get? We got the monetary policy from the UK. Official bank rate stayed at 4%. Now, it's not just that they left rates unchanged. I want to highlight what they did as far as official bank rate votes. The first number tells us how many of the Bank of England, of the 9 members, voted to raise rates. The second is to cut them, and the third is to leave them alone. So what we're seeing is that last time they had 5 votes to cut, 4 to leave it alone. And this time we anticipated that only 1 out of the 9 would want to cut and 8 would say leave it alone. So this is a slight skew in favor of cuts. And so we're starting to see more pricing in of potential rate cuts out of the Bank of England. And if that's the case, we would expect to see a weaker pound and more inflationary pressures from the UK. If the US is cutting and the UK is cutting and we see more and more rate cuts in more and more countries, that's an indication that we're going to see more and more inflation. So we're not done with inflation, at least based off of these rate moves or rate changes. As we look down here at the Bank of Japan, there today, later on tonight, and we don't expect them to do anything. We're expecting them to leave that alone at below 0.5%. But we're going to look for the press conference and the monetary policy statement to see how their economy is doing. Overall, we're seeing economies slow. Bank of Japan is struggling, UK is struggling, Europe is struggling, and if we're seeing struggling economies and inflation, we really could be setting up for a longer-term stagflation type of scenario. If we look at IEF is our bond representation. Bonds are represented in the 7 to 10 years. I like this one because it represents borrowing costs for home mortgages, primarily the 7-year, but it gives me a good sentiment of what we're expecting in the rates as well as bond prices. So we've gapped down and traded back to this level. I would have liked to have seen it gap down a little bit more, so I am anticipating a little further move and a retest closer to 96.25, at which point I'm going to look for defense of this trend line. A bounce off this low would be a nice time to get into bond ETFs or bonds and trade the price higher. So we're trading in and out. As yields fall, this should go back up. And we're seeing that set up with today's move. We could see it come back and retest 96.20. As we're looking at that, let's go take a look at gold once again. Gold has a tendency to continue to move after rate decisions, and we're going to usually look for a significant move up when we see rate cuts. But as you can see, we didn't. We pulled back and pulled back a little bit further. So if we're here and we're at the previous highs and the UK did not cut rates, this place could be the spot to buy back into gold. I'm not sure if that's what our timing is going to do. We want to see how we open up tomorrow. But if gold bounces and goes higher, we're going to be pricing in that bigger inflation hedge and an ongoing inflation hedge. And we could be going up to 3,800, 3,900 before the end of the year if the banks keep cutting rates. So if we see that growth in gold prices, that inflation hedge, and as we watch bond prices pull back, it seems to be reactionary that we overpriced the rate cuts or the future rate cuts in the US, which is why gold pulled back to find its stability here in the middle, why bonds have pulled back and are approaching their support level, but not reversing trend. So we're just unwinding some of the prices that we've seen, but we're still committed to a bullish trend in gold. We're still looking for a bounce and a bullish trend in bonds. Let's take a look at crude and copper as other signs of growth and demand, starting out with copper. And copper's response was to fall back down. Now, that huge drop that we saw in copper, we tried to create a base. I talked about this the other day live, and we're seeing this. I expected it to pull back to that trend line. If it breaks through that trend line, this channel is looking for a breakdown of about 23 cents. That is a big move. That's another 5% drop in copper. And if we drop down another 23 cents, we're talking about moving back to retest the annual support level. This is not a sign of growth. If it does not bounce here, we're seeing less demand and even further drops and less growth in the overall economy. If we can bounce here, that's a nice place to enter a trade and trade it up for that 5% move. But I'm not looking at a massive recovery in copper yet. In fact, we're right on the cusp, and if it breaks free, it could continue to slide that 5%. Crude, as we know, has been low in this area for the last 2 months, and we're just pulling back, trading in a range. I would not say this is a significant reversal. I would say we're sitting here in this barrier. Buy the lows, sell the highs until we see it break out. But it's just showing, again, we're not really in a growth phase, not in a demand phase for copper if we stay below 65. 65 is a very key level for crude prices on the global stage. So what does that mean? It means normally in a stagflation environment, I would be betting on staples. Staples didn't do well today. Staples pulled back, gapped down, and is testing this previous low. So we tried to respond positively yesterday to the rate cut and the fact that we had no demand. We pulled back right to 49.54. I need to see this stabilize here and go higher. But if it breaks down, then I'm going to bet against consumer staples and bet back into technology. If this holds and bounces up, I will be betting on consumer staples and you know my favorites, Kroger, Costco, and Walmart in those areas. But when we look at this in conjunction with utilities as a substitute for those bond prices, the bond price is still falling back down. You can see utilities held up. Utilities held up kind of in the center here. We did not break down. We did not close down. This could be the time to get back into utilities and get specifically into individual utilities. And just to show you the bounce and outside day that we created right through here, NextEra looks fantastic as a bounce trade off of support, a widening pattern, a close higher after an indecision. So this is a bullish candlestick pattern, and I'm looking for NextEra to go back up to 77. We could get a $7 move, about a 10% move, plus if you're holding it for a while, you'll also get the dividend payment, which is going to be fairly close to getting paid like you're owning bonds. So you get a 10% move plus a dividend payment. Dominion looks similar to XLU. It's a big piece of that. And again, that close higher, if we get a widening pattern and a close higher, that one looks promising. Duke, you can also see we tried to recover, but not nearly as strong as what we just saw on Dominion and NextEra. SRE was also one I'd look for, but it doesn't look as good, so we won't really take much time on that one. All right, so utilities are looking as a strong potential at this level, especially if bonds are going to bounce and go back higher, and we're going to be looking for the safety plays there. Energy is staying below 95 as far as crude goes, so I would not be betting on the energy sector yet, and waiting for it to clear 65 before we get into anything bullish. But in the meantime, the number one player, the big win, came out of technology and communications. And if we look at technology on this breakout, the question is this sustainable? And we broke out, we gapped up, we closed higher through the top of the 52-week high in response to the Fed rate cut. We know that the technology companies will be borrowing at lower cost, but my question is, really is 0.25 enough to create that next big wave and opportunity? I'm still watching the same channels, the same trends, the same slopes, and would be waiting for this to pull back and give us a different entry on these setups. So I'm going to go back to these previous highs and use the same slope right here, if I can get it to anchor there. And this same slope, it's a question mark for me. We're right at the peak. I would rather wait for it to pull back to 267 and buy in at that low. I think this is just a knee-jerk reaction, and I'm not going to chase technology higher. Well, that's going to do it for me today. Remember, we have triple witching tomorrow, so there are going to be a lot of volatility likely and a lot of directional movements into Friday's price action. So be careful, and we'll watch for these charts to set up and bonds, utilities, and potentially in consumer staples. And we'll watch for a potential pullback in technology over the next week.